Okay, I apologize for the massive delay, but my family and I have been doing work in the backyard. We have been working very hard trying to get this place nice and pretty. So, with that out of the way, today we're going to be talking about bidirectional charging. Mm. This is one that has been requested by quite a few of you. So, let's get into it. First thing I need to get out of the way is that I'm going to give you a list of vehicles. All of these are current to date vehicles. There are a few that are older than, this current model year being 2025, 2026. This is relatively a new-ish, newer kind of support for EVs. Then there are subcategories that you need to understand that other vehicles can supply without that can supply power without being all mixed up with extra hardware. These devices can be pricey, so it's important to get a vehicle, if you're serious about this, to get a vehicle that has more than one way to give back to your home. I'm going to kind of roll through these. I've got a list right here. To start things off is the second generation Nissan Leaf. The big difference with the second generation Leaf, besides its sheet metal, it's completely different look to it. Definitely less crazy than the first gen. Don't get me wrong, I like the first gen, but the second generation is definitely more subtle, as subtle as an EV can be with some of these Japanese manufacturers. Um, so second generation Leaf, which has a liquid cooled battery, which is the bigger difference. That unfortunately does require this this bidirectional charger from Fermata Energy, only available for commercial setups that have three-phase grid connections. So the Fermata Energy bidirectional charger can be pricey. I'm talking thousands. So if you do have a second generation Nissan Leaf and you're excited about having the capability of having bidirectional charging, unfortunately you've got so many more hoops and loops to jump through before you can actually enjoy that. Let's get into some good news. When it comes to the full-size EV pickup trucks in America right now, which is the Lightning, the Cybertruck, and then GM's twins, the Silverado EV and the Sierra EV. They all have the capability of having a vehicle to home charging with their required charger, bidirectional charger. However, the caveat with the trucks is that they have an on-board inverter that allows them to supply 30 amp power. You don't have to buy these pricey bidirectional chargers if you don't want to with the pickup trucks. They have external power sources and onboard inverters that allows you, like mostly from the bed of the truck. My Lightning, for example, has the 30 amp connection, which is strong enough to handle like a standard household dryer. The Tesla Cybertruck 2024 and up, you do need the Tesla bidirectional ecosystem charger, or you can use the onboard system. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I was looking at the Chevy Silverado slash GMC Sierra EV pickup trucks first. The main reason why I didn't even touch those is it was out of my price range. The cheapest one that I could find was around like 60, and my truck cost me 28, so literally half the price. The second thing is that there are at $60,000. That is the WT, the work truck package, if you will. If it was a Ford Lightning, it would have been the Ford Lightning Pro package, which has like vinyl seats, no carpet, vinyl floors, or maybe even cloth seats. Real for an EV, bare bones. Moving on with the GM, the Ultium platform, basically. Basically, if it's anything that has to do with the Ultium platform, which is their in-house battery, it's going to have the capability of bidirectional charging if you have the proper hardware. That specific for GM, it's the PowerShift technology, the PowerShift charger and hardware. The Cadillac Escalade, the Cadillac Lyric, and the Cadillac Optic. They love those Qs, everything except for the Escalade. Even though, actually, nope, sorry, the Escalade is called the Escalade IQ. So every single one of their EV SUVs, which these are all SUVs, has a Q at the end of their whatever word. The Escalade IQ, the Cadillac Lyric with a Q, the Cadillac Optic with a Q. That's pretty interesting. Kia and Hyundai, they also do the same thing with the compatible bidirectional chargers. That's very important. So most of these vehicles don't have another way to supply big power. They have like outlets and things like that, but they don't have big power. Rivian, if you don't know anything about Rivian, um, they are a relatively new American SUV and truck company. The Rivian R2 2026 and up, which is currently, they don't have it yet, but they have an upcoming integrated home power module that will pair with that Rivian R2 SUV, which they say that that SUV is going to be around 40 grand. That's what they say. So that's an entry level all electric SUV. That's going to be. I don't believe they make a 2-wheel drive version of any of their vehicles, including their truck. I believe they all are all-wheel drive capable. The 2026 and up Chevy Bolt will also have the bidirectional charging again with the. But you do have to add that option, or you got to find one that already has that option checked off. Bonus vehicle would be the GMC Hummer. So, I'm not gonna lie, and I hate to admit this out loud. Don't hate me in the comments. I don't hate. I don't hate the GMC Hummer EV. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I think it, in its own right, it is a very unique vehicle. Got a lot of power. It weighs a crap ton. It weighs more than it tows, which is unfortunate. But here we are. Um, but I think all around, I think those vehicles are pretty neat. I do like how the convertible top comes off in sections and you can put it in the frunk. Side note to that, once you do that, the frunk is completely useless unless you put like maybe a pizza in a box, maybe not even in the box, just a straight up pizza, just raw pizza, bam, right in there. Other than that, and maybe a t-shirt. Other than that, you're not really getting anything in there. You've also got things like the Chevy Blazer, the Cadillac Vistic, the Chevy Equinox, the Genesis GV60 and GV70, the Volvo XC90, the Volkswagen ID4 and ID Buzz. The ID Buzz, if I'm not mistaken, which unfortunately I believe it's on its way out. I think they're discontinuing that as well in the United States. That's the only full EV minivan, if I'm not mistaken, full EV minivan for people. If you're looking for a minivan that's an EV, you might find a really good deal on those. So that's kind of the short list there. Like I said, these are all capable quotation marks with the proper hardware. That is the only unfortunate part. Unless you get one of the trucks that can be mostly equipped with an onboard generator inverter that allows you to use your batteries, high voltage battery power, to supply it to whatever you want. So that's pretty much the caveat. So it seems like as the future goes on, it seems like everybody is trying to get in and get their little hands on bidirectional charging. So uh, and I definitely see more vehicles that do support vehicle to home or vehicle to load or vehicle to vehicle charging. More vehicles support these things than don't. To be able to get a vehicle with the support of vehicle to home and what have vehicle to charging, bidirectional charging. So at least there's that. That is the good news. There are definitely more EVs that do support it than don't. The bad news is they all require, if you want to use it from the same charge port plug, if that's your only way to do bidirectional charging, they all require some type of hardware to allow bidirectional charging. Hope you guys are picking out what I'm putting down. Tell your friends and family about this video. Spread the word. Get the news out there. Let's make sure that misinformation is not your station. I just made that up. I'm not sure if I'll keep that or not. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.